Alright, we are live. This is episode 2. This is Gireum Blue.
They suffer from bad writing, awkward acting, overuse of CG, plot holes, and character butchering of beloved characters.
They do not butcher beloved characters. What are you talking about? First off, there's a lot of times where they pay respect to who Obi-Wan is, especially in comparison to how you saw him in Alec Guinness, when Alec Guinness played him in A New Hope. They pay respect to that, and they pay respect to the characterization, and they develop this character further than even that of the original trilogy, because you didn't get that same level of context in the original trilogy. So there's more potential there. So there's things that you completely missed from the movie, of course, given the way that you already have a preconceived bias of the movie, like so many prequel haters out there. What a cliche.
But why do people enjoy them?
Gireum.
Hello, fellow Jerry Cans. I originally started writing the script of the video as more of a review of the Star Wars prequel trilogy, even though...
Well, you're not reviewing it, really. All you're doing is just having a preconceived bias about it and rambling. But here's the thing, though. A lot of what you say is just inaccurate, and that's the real problem there.
Since I was born in 1997, I grew up with these movies. As an adult, I liked them.
I grew up with the movies, too. And there's a lot of deeper expansion of the philosophical concepts of the original trilogy inside of the prequels. And that's the thing. So there's aspects and all these underlying things that happen in the prequel films that show you deeper aspects of the Force and the Jedi and what the Force means. It's incredible. You don't get this from the original trilogy because it was introducing those concepts. Now you get to expand on them through the prequels. That's exactly what George Lucas did.
Ironically, while acknowledging they're pretty bad movies.
Don't give me that bullshit. Oh, acknowledging that they're bad. You're acting like it's objective fact that it's... Oh, I don't want to hear that shit. Alright? Because it's not objective truth. Your opinion is not objective truth. So I don't need to hear that. The point is that the prequel era films are some really underrated gems that were not given the appreciation that they deserve for a lot of what it managed to accomplish in its runtime.
My original intent was going to bash these movies into oblivion, but then I thought of something.
Yeah, but for you to bash these movies into oblivion is such a fucking cliche. You and everybody else that was in the AOL chat rooms years ago, all the way up until the time that YouTube was created, over here bashing these movies, all because it doesn't fit or align with your belief of how the original trilogy should have continued. It's ridiculous.
There are so many other YouTube videos out.
So what if the continuation of the original trilogy does not meet your vision? Let it go. Because for you to sit there and get on somebody else because they don't match that standard of what the original trilogy was is stupid, because the prequels should be different from the original trilogy. That's why I love them more than the original trilogy, because George Lucas managed to do something completely different and unique from the original trilogy. So I don't have to go back to the movies and think, oh, well, you know, this is like the original trilogy, but it's like part 2. No. I'm going there realizing, oh, shit, this is some brand new shit. Brand new. Holy fuck. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, alright. And that's what George Lucas managed to accomplish.
Out there from content creators I highly respect that have reviewed these movies far better than I ever could.
But what would you know? And Disney. Because Disney managed to do what? Duplicate the original trilogy. And do exactly what all you complainers of the prequels really basically just asked for. Because you're sitting there complaining about the prequels, then they're like, look, we're gonna just fully pay respect to the original trilogy. We'll just copy it. Fuck it. No, for real. We're really gonna do this, people. The Force Awakens. And they do that. And people eat it up. They say it was great. I mean, I give it a 7.7. I mean, it's good. It's not bad, but in comparison to the prequels was far beyond that. Far beyond that. It was just more incredible because it was something brand new and original. You know? So yeah.
Good. And most of my points I would mention probably are covered by them all. So I felt that it was going to be redundant. I highly suggest you check out these 3 reviews of the Star Wars prequel trilogy on YouTube. I think...
Oh, Cosmonaut Variety Hours review. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Cosmonaut Variety Hour is so overrated. And a lot of what he says is really inaccurate. And the fact that you even brought him into this, I mean, dude, Cosmonaut always, yeah, Cosmonaut always has something to say about a film with the most pointless and ridiculous nitpicks ever. It's ridiculous. He needs to get out of here with that. It's ridiculous. I've had enough of Cosmonaut doing that every single freaking time. Every time there's a great movie, he's always there to just stifle it with his little nitpicks. He always has to just get his grimy little hands on the movie. It's like, leave the movie alone! God damn it! The movie is fine where it is. Holy fucking shit. It's like, goddamn.
They reviewed these movies the best on this godforsaken website that is infested with hack complaint tubers and clickbaity lies.
Don't give me that hack complaint tuber bullshit. I don't want to hear that. Because when it comes down to it, that hack complaint tuber, like, that is bullshit. It's not about hack complaint tubers. It's not about any of that. It's about the prequels. The way you view those movies is some bullshit. You want to talk about bullshit? That is some serious bullshit. Get the fuck out of here with this. Why are you getting on these movies? Of all films, man! These were original as hell! And they were unique for their time.
And are far more competent YouTubers than me. Instead,
why are you giving it up to somebody else? Why don't you give yourself props? But you don't have to just completely just give it up to someone else. Like, oh well, they're far more competent than... Like, you don't have to downplay yourself like that. Not necessary. So, I'm just saying.
Today, I wanted to focus on something else entirely, and that is, so many people hated these movies when they came out.
No, you hated the damn movies. And then a bunch of dudes on the AOL chat rooms hated on the movies. And then Red Letter Media hated on the movies. And then Red Letter Media fanboys started hating on the movies. And it got to the point where a lot of you guys just started basically exaggerating the film. But then when you actually see the movie for yourself, all those criticisms that you brought up were just fucking exaggerations to the likes in which you've never seen. And then when you actually see the movie, there's a sense of subtlety behind it, an expansion of the philosophical concepts of what the Force is and what the Force means, and deeper elements of the action and weight. There's just so many things. And deeper elements of the action and weight through complex acrobatics. There's just so much. There's a lot of stuff that in the prequels. And all they ever do is just regurgitate the same bullshit they heard from some fanboy of Red Letter Media. Regurgitating the same thing that they got from influence from other people. Instead of actually viewing the film with your own lens, you just get it from who you saw online as a kid. Because you grew up with this YouTuber, or you grew up with that YouTuber, and it influenced you. I know because in high school I had that influence. But luckily I grew up with the movies. I grew up with these movies and loved them. Didn't give a fuck what some dude on some AOL chat room said, because I didn't even know he even existed. Because I was in school. We all loved the movies. We didn't give a fuck. We didn't fucking care. We thought the movies were phenomenal. All of a sudden, you grow up, discover Red Letter Media on YouTube, and realize, oh shit, it's a complete... People have made a living on trashing George Lucas, man. Literally. And I'm just like, get the fuck out my face. Suck my dick. Get the fuck out of here. You know, the fact that you even called him a fraud. That's what Red Letter Media said. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Just be quiet. What he says is just really ignorant. And what you say about the movie is just so bewildering. Just bewildering. Like, no.
But why do so many people love it now?
Because the movies expand on the philosophical concepts of the Force and what the Force is and what the Force means and who a Jedi is and what it means to be a Jedi. That's why. There's deeper aspects of the movie that you don't consider and you don't realize. But people like me who actually watch the movie realize when seeing the film. For some reason, people like, I mean, I don't know why, you just don't want to see it. You just ready for the bias, the red letter media bias, because you let YouTubers and other people in AOL chat rooms influence your perspective instead of getting your own perspective yourself.
Well, first, before I do that, I'll list the problems I personally have with these movies, so you can kind of grab.
Yeah, and I can list all the problems I personally have with the way that you've described the movie so far.
That's where I'm coming from, and it'll be useful for later. Maybe you can see if I'm biased or not.
Oh, there's no maybe about it.
Gireum's problem with the prequels in
2
minutes
7
seconds.
You better make this good.
Ready? The dialogue isn't just bad, it makes no logical sense.
How is the dialogue bad? It makes no logical sense. What the hell, bro? There's a lot of intelligent dialogue in there. I think the ability for me, of me to fly this ship is irrelevant. How is that unintelligent dialogue? The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. How is that unintelligent dialogue? What are you talking about? I will not let my people starve. I mean, what the fuck? What? What is so hard about that? I don't understand. It makes no sense. Every time people say this fucking shit, it's so fucking annoying because it makes no fucking sense, because when you see the fucking movie, that's not what happens. So what the fuck? There's dialogue that you can fucking understand. What the fuck don't you understand about that shit? What the fuck? Don't you understand? I just listed the dialogue. I'm gonna do it again. The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. What the fuck is so hard about that? Another happy landing. Oh, what in the world? Or, not to worry, we're still flying half a ship. What is so hard to understand about dialogue like that? What the hell? It's intelligent, thought-provoking dialogue. I'm just being real, man. And you over here making it like, oh my god, it makes no logical sense. How does that not make logical sense? I just explained it to you. How the fuck does that not make logical sense? What are you talking about? This is what I mean. It's bias. And you know it. When you talk about, oh, we'll see if I'm biased or not. There's no maybe about it. Look at that.
Every actor except Ian McDiarmid gives terrible performances. The plot.
Get the fuck out of here. These actors are bringing their A game. And they sound sophisticated and real and immersed into the world of Star Wars. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Only works because every character except Palpatine are idiots. Characters.
Oh, please. Prove that they're idiot. Prove that. Prove it. What are you talking about? Okay, they're not perfect, but they make some pretty intelligent decisions when it comes to how they face each other and when they're in battle. So what are you talking about?
Are inconsistent and dynamics switch between movies. Yoda doesn't.
Oh, please. They develop dynamics between movies, such as the dynamic between Anakin and Obi-Wan was developed more further each film. What are you talking about?
Speak like he did in the OT. All of that.
So what if he doesn't? He's not. This. Oh my God! This is from before the original trilogy. So what does that matter? But here's the thing: Yoda is loyal to his character to a T in the prequels. That is definitely him. So what the fuck are you talking about? And he speaks words of wisdom, just like he did in the original trilogy. So what are you talking about? Get the fuck out my face! Get the fuck out my face! Get the fuck out my face! What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Damn.
Dialogue scenes are shot so cheap and lazy, it's always people sitting down on chairs or walking.
Oh, please! Kiss my ass! Holy fucking shit! All the dialogue scenes are shot, so... Oh! Those are some good shots. You can see the clones from there. And you see Anakin and Obi-Wan. You could tell their dynamic of their relationship just through the cinematography. Shut your ass up. Then you have this great shot where you see the background of the Jedi Archives. This is the Jedi Archives place. This is a library. It's so gorgeous. Look at the backgrounds. It looks so real. What are you talking about? Stop.
Walking around slowly, making the movie look like a shitty Tuesday morning K-drama. The
fuck
romantic
you talking
interactions
about?
are laughable.
Fuck outta here with
Two
this
main
shit,
things
man.
that was told, not
Fuck.
shown.
Felt you this tense since we fell into that nest of Gundam.
Most of the humor is
Jesus, tired
horrendously
of this
bad.
fucking
The
shit.
CG looks dated and horrible
Man.
now. The battle scenes...
The CGI? Are you kidding me? They use practical and special effects. So what do you say to that? That means you can't even tell what's real and what isn't. Understand? Get it?
have no tension and are boring to look at despite all the CG plastered everywhere. The lightsaber fight scenes are too long. George Lucas connected...
Oh, I don't want to hear that bullshit. You said the same bullshit Cosmonaut said. Oh, the lightsaber fight was too long. I don't care. As long as it's good, that's all that matters. It's fucking stupid. It's a dumbass fucking criticism. Next.
Direct good action scenes that does not involve lightsabers. Yoda and especially Palpatine uses lightsabers at
I
a
hear that shit.
Yes. A Jedi's weapon.
Yoda's character is a warmongering idiot and not a wise person.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, he has to fight the war because he's a Jedi in the middle of the Clone Wars. Once the Clone War starts, that's it. People gotta fight it. Someone has to fight it. You can't just sit there and be like, well, we're just gonna meditate. No, bro. After a while, they have to actually fight too. Literally. Because there's literally a separation. There are separatists forming in the galaxy against the Republic. What the fuck are they supposed to do if they attack other planets or attack their own planet? Stand around and say, oh, no, they have to fight. So that's just stupid ass criticism. Shut up.
Like he was in ESP. Phantom Menace literally has no protagonist, while Attack of the Clones literally has no plot. Anakin
Man, you know that's a dumbass criticism when they have to fight, you idiot. Man.
Padme's death is an insult to her character.
Oh, shut up.
There is a warmongering idiot and not a wise hermit like he was in ESP.
You're such a dumbass. When the Jedi are fighting in the war and the Separatists are forming in the galaxy, guess what? They have to fight that war. They have to fight that battle. You fucking dumbass. Don't you get it? They have to do this. Don't you realize?
Menace literally has no protagonist, while Attack of the Clones literally...
Yes, it does have a protagonist. It's Qui-Gon Jinn. But you can also say it's from the perspective of Anakin. Or you could say it's from the perspective of Padme. It takes place from multiple perspectives, so it wouldn't really matter. But the point is, what you say is some bullshit, because the main character, it takes place from multiple perspectives. However, since a lot of it takes place from Qui-Gon's especially, people consider Qui-Gon as the main character. So get the fuck out of here with that shit.
literally has no plot. Anakin shouts to his crush like a bloodthirsty maniac all the time and they fall in love.
And I slaughtered them like animals.
Padme's death is an insult to her character.
First off, that's taking away a lot of context in the movie. They talked about their political interworkings, meaning they spoke about what they got involved in on a political level. What were their political stances? What are their political beliefs? What do they believe makes a good democracy or a good society? You know? They talked about more than just what you think. And this is what I mean when people like you misunderstand the films and don't even pay attention.
Lost the will to live? What is your degree in poetry?
Unnecessary fan service like C-3PO and Chewbacca. Too many
No, you don't get it. Broken hearts are real. It's actually a medical documented fact that you can actually die from a broken heart. It's true. And they spoke about this. So when I found out that that was actually real, it doesn't even matter, because even if it serves the story for storytelling purposes, right? And it's a deep, even if you want to say it's a deep story purpose for why he put it in there. So what? Now, not only that, but it's actually based on something that's real. Yeah, I looked it up. Do your research. It's actually real.
Unnecessary plot points and characters like General Grievous, who contributes nothing to the story. There are too many villains that keep switching, which result in Darth Maul and Count Dooku being boring characters in the movie. So,
get the fuck out of here. Actually, Darth Maul was not supposed to be a super complex character. Count Dooku was already a complex character. See, Count Dooku separated from the Republic. He had a different political stance and belief. He believed that the Republic was corrupt. He was right. It was corrupt. He had a point. But when he defected, when he left, he started learning the ways of the Sith. And that's what made him Darth Tyrannus. You understand? This is why he got along with Qui-Gon Jinn, because Qui-Gon Jinn also went against the Jedi Council on numerous occasions, including a Phantom Menace. So that's what I'm really laying down there.
Nothing familiar about this place.
it's never explained.
It doesn't matter. Maybe the reason why it's familiar is because he's feeling the Force and sensing the fact, picking up on the memories of Yoda. For Yoda, this place is familiar because, guess what? This was his home at one point. That might be why. People don't think about that.
Why Yoda decided to go to exile and not help the rebellion. Order 66 is a lazy plot convenience to get rid of all the Jedi for the OT that needed supplementary material to explain.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Order 66 happened because the Jedi Order was turned on and manipulated from the shadows by Palpatine by getting two armies being built. Right? He built one army from the Trade Federation, the Techno Union, and the banking clans. And then he built another army from a clone and Cypher DS, greenlighting it, and the clones and everything. And they fight from the while he's manipulating it from the shadows, up until he manipulates the Chosen One himself, Anakin, and then that's when Order 66 happens.
The name Vader is just a random word Palpatine thought of and has no significance. Anakin Skywalker, the main protagonist, is too unlikable because he goes from annoying kid to whiny teen to psychopathic adult. Anakin is introduced
You
by the
make
Dark...
no sense, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You just streamlined so much character development and so much characterization. When he was searching for his mother, is that just, oh, he's just crazy and that's it? Okay, he was searching for his mother, dude. His mother went missing. He started sensing in the Force that his mother was in danger, so he went to search for her. That makes perfect sense. Not only that, but when he was a kid, he was pretty smart for his age. He was even able to build C-3PO. And he was smarter than even a lot of the other kids around. He was a clever kid. What's so bad about that? And what the fuck is hard to understand about that? You want to talk that bullshit? You really want to talk that bullshit? Come with the evidence. Come with the facts.
Dark side like Obi-Wan said in the original trilogy, but then naturally tricked into the dark side because he's a big fat idiot. They made Darth Vader into a big fat whiny idiot.
Oh yeah, you didn't even bring anything up. That's just an opinion. Oh well, just an idiot. And get the fuck out of here. You're full of shit. And that's it? Get the fuck out of here, man. You can do better than that. Because there ain't no masters here, man. But there ain't no slaves either. No, I'm just sorry.
You got that? Okay, we can move on.
Shut up.
Like I said, instead of focusing on why these movies are bad, I want to focus on why so many people love it now, because these movies had a more...
Aren't you focused on... Let's focus on the fact that you say some outlandish bullshit.
Love and hate, then insert history joke here. These movies are panned at first when they came out, and it just weren't the critics or the fans. The average viewers thought it was kinda crap.
I don't give a fuck. That's bullshit. I don't give a fuck what you say about what the average viewer thought. That's bullshit. I don't give a fuck what you say about what the average viewer thought. That's fucking bullshit. Oh my god. I'm just saying, you trying to paint this picture about just how everybody just happy happens to feel about the prequels. Like, ooh, oh my, get the fuck out of here. That's just your opinion. That's how you see the movies. Stop assuming that everybody else thinks the way you think.
And I also hated it because of the influence of first generation YouTubers like Mr. Plinkett. People bully Kelly Mary Chan on the internet. Same things happened 15 years ago with the prequels, you know?
Star.
War.
Okay.
Star.
War never changes.
Also, hating on George Lucas was like the cool thing to do in the 2000s.
Yeah, and it's so fucking annoying. It's like you turned it into just a thing to do. And he's the one who made Star Wars what it is. You wouldn't even have Star Wars if it weren't for him.
Sort of like the situation J.K. Rowling is in today. Many of you and alpha people probably don't know this, but George Lucas was the OG living meme movie director, sort of like how Zack Snyder is today. It's kind of understandable because, I mean, the man butchered the original movies with stupid special edition changes, made shitty movies.
All because of a couple of shots. The special edition only has issues with a few fucking shots. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. A few fucking shots. Shut the fuck up. Damn. Oh no, one shot was out of order. You whiny little baby. Get the fuck out of here.
Movies like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Red Tails, so the image of George Lucas was real good. If you want to take a look back at this time when George was butt of all jokes, I suggest you check out this documentary called The People vs. George Lucas, released in 2010, because it really captures the state Star Wars was in back then. But then, Lucas made a surprise decision to sell Star Wars to the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah, I wonder why. Could it be because a bunch of whiny original trilogy purists didn't get their way, and he got sick and tired of hearing that shit, so he decided to sell it so you can shut the fuck up and be happy already?
That resulted in
Yeah, and the part of that is you hating on the prequels, chasing George Lucas away, making him want to sell the shit. The real people who chased away George Lucas. Here it is, everybody. Here it is.
In short, the sequels came out, and they weren't exactly met with warm welcomes. The fan base was divided, and many began to hate the Star Wars sequels. First came the people that said, the Star Wars sequels suck, the prequels are better.
The prequels are better films. They're deeper and expand on the philosophical concepts of the Force and the original trilogy. And on top of that, it's a unique adaptation of the original trilogy style and feel, taking that and making it more old school and with an old tongue, but with a sense of charm and wit that you would associate with Star Wars, giving it that Star Wars feel. And that creative authenticity comes from George Lucas especially. You don't have that with the sequels. You don't even have anything close to that vision.
After that, slowly but surely, those people changed to the Star Wars prequel are not just better, but are misunderstood masterpieces.
They are misunderstood, brilliant films. And people should have realized this a long time ago.
You're wrong. How could you even say that?
Don't you dare use those movies to support that bullshit you're saying.
First noticed this change of attitude happening in the Star Wars fandom through Reddit. You know the famous subreddit r prequel memes, right? I remember that subreddit
So what? That's how iconic the movie is, that people made memes out of it. Because each line is so iconic.
originally started as a sub that mocked the awkward dialogue with the Star Wars prequels and enjoyed the movies ironically like me. But slowly but surely, people started to change. The reposted memes saying sequels suck began to get upvotes, and because Star Wars is like politics in that if something sucks, the opposite gets support,
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
reposted memes unironically saying prequel good, sequel bad began to sprout everywhere, putting the I love democracy image on a poll that had the prequels winning in something is the textbook of lazy memes, guys. Then PewDiePie made the
Can you just get to the goddamn point?
prequel memes, and now the subreddit is about as big as the main Star Wars Reddit page. Anyways, my point is, I think the cold reception of the sequels is one factor that made the prequels get more love. So one conclusion we can draw is that one of the big factors why the prequels get so much love is because of relative comparison to the sequels. However, I don't think that was enough. Like, for example, If Batman movies in the next 10 years suck, in 10 years, I'm not gonna say Zack Snyder's god-awful DC movies were better, because those movies have, does, and will always suck.
Yeah, according to your opinion. Come on. Yeah, that's just your opinion. Oh wow, according to my opinion, oh, these movies suck and blah blah blah. Yeah, according to your little perspective. Congratulations, genius. Oh wow.
No matter what, the concept was bad, the ideas were bad, the characters were bad, the movies are just fundamentally broken, and I say the prequels aren't. So what's the difference? Is there something to the prequels other than relative comparison that makes them beloved? Possibly.
Relative comparison is not the only factor in what makes it so beloved. Realize this. There are cinematic techniques, there are skills, things that formulate George Lucas's identity that makes it so compelling.
Whenever someone says, I think the Star Wars prequels are masterpieces, or I unironically love the Star Wars prequels, I think 99% of the time they're lying. They lie to themselves.
What? Wait a minute!
You guys don't love the
No!
prequel movies.
Stop. How are you gonna assume how other people feel about a movie? That's fucking bullshit. You can't just reach inside of someone's head and claim that, oh, this is how they actually feel. No, get the fuck out of here. You can't tell me how I feel about a fucking movie. You can't tell them how they feel about a fucking movie. You can't tell a person how they feel about a fucking movie! Motherfucker, they're gonna feel that shit regardless. It's not up to you to determine how someone else feels. That's how you feel. There's a difference.
No, in actuality, you guys love the Star Wars prequel universe. If you ask me,
No! I like the fucking movie, not just the universe. I love the Clone Wars aesthetic, yeah. I love the Coruscant look, yeah. But I love the prequel story, yeah. And I love the prequel universe, and I like the intelligent and thought-provoking dialogue, yeah. The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. I think that's some pretty thought-provoking shit. Always on the move. I hate it when he does that. Come on, there's a lot of iconic lines in there. Get the fuck out my face. Hell fucking no.
the biggest problem with the Star Wars prequel is not the bad dialogue, the acting, nor the story like everyone says. The biggest problem of the prequels could be its greatest strength, and it's that George had too many ideas for the movie and not enough time. George had too many ideas and
no, he had time. He just made them the way that he actually wanted to make them.
he got carried away with it.
He did not get carried away with it. He just made them the way he actually wanted to make them. He had the money, he had the resources. So bam. He made them the way he really wanted to make them. I'm just being real with you, man.
old and took complete creative control over the directing, writing, and producing. He failed to make pathways for the audience to care.
Bullshit. There was a lot of moments of deep characterization and depth, storytelling, and even a sense of precision. That's not true. These are things you missed in the movie yourself.
Likeable and give emotion to the movies. It feels like
There is emotion, it's just put in different areas. It's not following the same conventional lens of filmmaking that you always see. It's following a different lens, and that's okay. It's alright to go against the conventional lens of filmmaking. That's the point. That's the whole point of experimental filmmaking. That's the idea.
George was interested in doing everything perfectly except making a good story, which I think is a...
Oh my god, that's just your opinion. In your opinion, it's not a good story. Okay, but it's still the story that resonated with so many people. It just didn't resonate with you.
big shame. What do I mean by saying George Lucas had too many ideas and not enough time? For example, let's talk about the underlings of Palpatine. I know Darth Maul, Dooku, and Grievous are supposed to be three villains with aspects that foreshadows Darth Vader, which is a one...
No, that's actually just your interpretation. It can mean a lot of different things. More than just what you think. Considering Count Dooku was actually a complex character. And his motivations are fleshed out inside of the movie. when you actually pay attention.
Wonderful idea on paper, but because George wanted to cram all 3 villains into 3 movies, there's not enough time to flesh out these characters. They either die a really stupid death, do nothing in the story and be bland, or be a plot device to distract Obi-Wan. George has so many villain ideas he had to cut a villain for a movie, and that became Asajj Ventress, a character that only appears in spin-off material. If you ask me, they should have kept Darth Maul alive so he and Obi-Wan can have a rivalry like he does in the Clone Wars.
So what? Just because they didn't do that doesn't make it a bad story. Genius.
So Obi-Wan Kenobi will have a character moment if he's going after Darth Maul for revenge of his master's death or for justice. And I think Dooku and Grievous could have been combined into one character, because their role in the story is the exact same, a temporary pawn of Sidious until he gets his real prize, Anakin. I think the biggest example of George having too many ideas and not enough time in the movies are the Clone Troopers. I love the Clone Troopers, trusting men that fight with the Jedi, that question their individuality and if they're no different from the droids, who ultimately turn on the Jedi due to no choice. What a great idea. But in the movies, because we didn't have enough time to get to know the clones, they're just boring talking CG characters who are no different from the droids they fight.
There are many movies where they do not develop the soldiers because they're focusing on developing the story, not the soldiers, and no one cared. But when it's the prequels, all of a sudden it's a big fucking deal. Get the fuck out of here. Alright? What matters is that they developed Anakin's character, Padme's character, and Obi-Wan's character. That's what fucking matters. And hell, even Qui-Gon.
I don't even know why they turned on the Jedi when Palpatine tells them to do so. Just based on the movies, you never know they're programmed to follow Palpatine's orders over anything else, which was explained in the books, or have brain chips in their head, which was explained in the episode of the Clone Wars that came out 9 years after Revenge of the Sith. The structure of the prequels doesn't make much sense either if you think about it. The first movie is about a minor skirmish in the Republic, which isn't really a Star War, and it's the second movie where the actual war starts, and the third episode when the Clone War ends. If this was any other filmmaker, the Clone War should have started with Episode 1, Episode 2 should have been a story set in mid-war during the Clone Wars, and Episode 3 should have been the end. But because George wanted to explore what the universe was like before the Clone Wars, we barely see the actual Clone Wars in the movie, and saw it folly happen on TV shows, which was where we actually got to see Anakin mature and change. What I think George should have done was to hire
So
a writer
fucking
and get
annoying. Okay, I mean, don't you realize that there's aspects of Anakin maturing and changing already in the movie that you don't have to see the Clone Wars just to see?
ideas to him. For example, using the Senate to explain how Palpy got power gives backstory to the character and is a wonderful idea, but the Senate scenes are way too long and should have been condensed or rewritten so they're less boring and don't make me want to doze off. People complain about Rise of Skywalker requiring supplementary material like visual dictionaries to fully understand.
Yeah, the prequels didn't! Don't go there! That's bullshit because the prequels had expanded universe stories. You don't need novels to understand the prequels. You can understand them just by the film alone. Damn! The sequel trilogy actually did that, to where there was important elements of the story, and just to know, you gotta fucking read this book. The prequels didn't need that. The novels was just retelling the same story with a few additions you might not have known. A few additions. There's a fucking difference.
When the prequels have been doing that for years before, you all just got used to the prequel universe, that's all. And that's another reason why people look fondly back at the prequels, because they love
Oh, shut up.
the ideas. George
No, it's not just the ideas, you fucking idiot. Stop saying that bullshit. It's the whole fucking package. It's not just the goddamn
He
ideas.
just likes trying out new stuff, no matter if that stuff is good or bad.
They wanted to do a retro movie. I don't like that. I like
Yeah, it's not just the fucking ideas. It's the whole goddamn movie. We like the whole damn film, genius.
to make them different. I make them completely different with different planets, with different spaceship.
He's the guy that said his favorite Clone Wars episode is the one where droids get stuck in the desert, which could be the worst Clone Wars episode that was ever made, but it was damn unique.
The one with the droids.
Oh, when they're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god, really?
So since I'm not the man, I can't speak for it, but I bet you, if you were to ask him to choose which sequel movie he likes the best, he'll probably pick The Last Jedi. Even if you hate everything about TLJ, He has to admit
wow.
the most unique one out of the bunch with new ideas, compared to the remakes of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi.
That's just your assumption. You're assuming what George Lucas would think without even consulting him first. Like, how the fuck would you know?
And I bet his favorite sequel planet is Canto Bight, because he likes it when Star Wars incorporate real-life places into the world, like it did with the opera at Coruscant, and Canto Bight is a casino.
How in the hell would you know? It makes no fucking sense.
Another reason why people love the prequels is the world building through the detail in the movie.
No!
Expanded lore through the details. Every character...
Stop saying that shit! That's fucking annoying! It's not about the world building, it's not about the ideas, it's not about the concepts, it's the whole goddamn movie, you fucking idiot! The whole goddamn movie! The whole damn thing! We like the whole damn thing! Dumbass! The whole damn thing! That's what makes it so compelling and brilliant! The entirety of the film, the entirety of the cinematic experience, not just a piece of it, no, the entirety of it. We respect all of George Lucas's vision, not just a portion. Genius.
The extras, or at the background, has a story planned in the prequels. That
Quinlan Voss. He was the master of Aayla Secura in the expanded universe.
is why Wikipedia is such an amusing place to read about. All the Jedi
If you read Star Wars Republic, you can learn more about them.
you see in the background in the prequels during boring council discussion scenes all have backstories to them. All of them have unique alien designs that make them memorable, which makes the universe interesting and fun. Contrast that to the sequels. On the hero's side, it's just gruff-looking resistance people that are bland, less interesting than Mario Kart 8 soundtracks. Like, I don't want to know the backstory of these bland human individuals that are just inferior copies of the army they're imitating, which is the original trilogy's rebellion army. God bless you, General Dodonna. I understand that the political scenes in the prequels are dumb and boring, and George Lucas is a clown.
That's it? No! You're a fucking clown! Don't try to clown him when you're the dumbass who didn't even understand what the scene meant. If there's a taxation or a blockade on a planet, they're gonna probably discuss the blockade and discuss what to do about it.
Clown for saying these movies about politics are for 12-year-olds.
But, you know, it's a film for 12.
Shut up. So what? When I was a kid, I understood some of that shit. I sat there listening to a lot of the political scenes and realized this is a serious political moment. And they're discussing some serious stuff. Okay. And then I just kept watching the movie. I was a kid. I didn't... that's all I knew. And I still kept watching. So that's not true.
12-year-olds.
But I think the reason why these political scenes existed was because George wanted to explain how the prequel world and the Clone Wars operate on a technical level, because he had so many ideas and wanted to explain. It was just executed poorly. But because these scenes exist,
No.
we really understand exactly how the Clone Wars...
According to your opinion, it was executed poorly.
Who paid for the clones? Rich motherfucker Count Dooku. Who built the droids? The Techno-Unions. Who supplies the money for the Confederates? The Muns and the banking clans. Why were they built? So Palpatine get more power. Contrast that to the sequels. Even after 3 movies, I still don't understand how the sequel world, which consists of the New Republic, First Order, or Final Order, work. How did the First Order get the money to build the Starkiller base? I don't know. How did they recruit so many troops? They kidnapped babies?
I was taken from a family I'll never know.
We were conscripted as kids. All of us.
Wait,
Yeah, but that's stupid because those are not the only elements of the movie that make the movie so good. Realize this.
how can you build an army with just young kidnapped soldiers? Wouldn't Child Protective Services be alerted? What is the difference between the New Republic and the Resistance, and why is Leia operating it? Why didn't the New Republic have an army? How did Palpatine get 1,000 Star Destroyers that could all destroy planets? You see what I mean? There was
Yes, I see what you mean, but it's...
And I think the world building
Yes, I see what you mean, but it's not the only factor.
aspect of the prequels is what people love. I think the screenwriters and the directors of the sequels are more focused on telling a story. Yeah, right. And they didn't care about the world building, which makes the universe of the sequel really boring.
What are you talking about?
I love how every planet that appears is different.
That's not the only element that made people like the movie!
Architecture, different technology, different culture, like Naboo,
it's fucking annoying!
Geonosis, Utapau, Mustafar, all look different and feel very unique and memorable. That is why even planets that appear for 5 seconds in the movie like Felucia are memorable, and those planets can be expanded.
Yes, but the story behind it is memorable too!
Contrast with the sequels, I literally counted 3 bland forest planets, 2 desert planets that you probably are not even curious of what their names are. All of them just feel like nostalgia of classic original trilogy ripoff planets, and the reason why OT planets are kind of boring is because of technical limitations, so they chose desert, jungle, frozen wasteland, sky, and Northern California. This is the 2000s, you have CG, you don't necessarily need to copy this for God's sake. And that is why out of all the sequel planets and locations, Exegol is actually my favorite, and it's not only because it's pretty unique and moody. Palpatine's hideout actually has a lot of unique looking architecture with probably a lot of Sith history backstory behind them, and many unexplained seeds for stories to grow, like where the Sith troopers and the weird cultist wearing hoods come from. You might hate Exegol because it's the planet that dug up Palpatine from the grave, but I actually really like it because ironically, it's the most unique and memorable sequel planet that I would like to see more in the future. Because of the excellent world building from the prequels, there are so many goddamn spin-off materials from the movies. What I find respectable about George Lucas is that even though his movies were shat on by the audience and the critics, he never gave up on them.
Because he doesn't need you for validation, genius!
2005, there were so many fucking books, comics, merchandise that came out that expanded the prequel universe. I mentioned in the Pokemon vs Star Wars video where I compared George Lucas to Junichi Masuda, I said George Lucas is a man that functions better when he's only an idea man and not the actual filmmaker. He did excellent.
Shut up!
And he did it best with the Clone.
What are you talking about? That's bullshit! Man, he fucking made this franchise what it is! He's the one who created the original trilogy! He directed and wrote A New Hope! It would never be what it is today without him! If Sophia to say that is so disrespectful, get the fuck out of here!
Clone Wars. Maybe I'll explain why Clone Wars is the best Star Wars content ever created, more detailed in a future video. But the Clone Wars
the prequels is a lot better than Clone Wars.
Built a canvas for other writers and creators to draw upon, and Clone Wars is a masterwork of an art that was drawn on the canvas. So
the prequels is a master class of cinematic storytelling.
The Clone Wars has so much story material. We get to see so many aspects of the Clone War. We see the war affecting the higher ups, criminals, and
underrated.
The Jedi, the soldiers, and the opposing forces who are just caught in the battle.
So underrated.
And it's wonderful watching the stories of the characters unfold in this universe.
What's the point of all this? I mean, why? I don't know, sir. I don't think anybody knows. But I do know that someday this war is gonna end. Then what? We're soldiers. What happens to us then?
That is why I believe people love the Clone Wars and prequel universe so much. And that is why I love the prequel universe as well. I feel like George Lucas is like J.R.R. Tolkien with his imaginative world, but the difference is George can't write shit for the life of me.
I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over.
Compare that to the sequels. The Resistance.
Shut the fuck up.
Versus First Order.
Talking about, oh, he can't write for the life of me. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I like to see you write a script. I like to see you write a fucking story your damn self. Why don't you fucking try that shit out? Since you wanna fucking say that shit.
Is so boring. First, it's just an excuse to bring back old teen nostalgia, like Star Destroyers, TIE Fighters, Stormtroopers, and X-Wings, because that's what they thought the fans wanted.
I clapped when I saw it!
Second, you need to explain why this war is happening, even if political dialogue is boring. They went the complete opposite way of explaining too much in the prequels to not explaining the sequels, and we don't even care why the heroes are fighting the villains in the movies. I can't believe the only line that explains the Emperor coming back we ever got was literally,
somehow Palpatine returned.
Also, Disney gave up after the sequels. The only animated series we got that is set in the sequel universe is Star Wars Resistance, which no one watched because it was geared for children. And after Rise of Skywalker, I can't believe the only thing we got is the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special, which by the way, is the only material that confirms Finn is a Force sensitive. Like, what the fuck, man? And there are like 0 planned materials left for the sequel universe to grow. I know you guys hate the sequels, but I love to see a Clone Wars animated style TV show set between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. It will give us time to like Rey, like how we got to like Anakin through the Clone Wars, and explain plot holes in episode 9 of how they got the Resistance fleet back and how Palpatine came back from the dead. Don't give up 5 years and 3 movies for God's sake, Disney. You already played your cards, so you must use them. What's kind of a shame is because I'm a nerd without a life, I actually somewhat do know the backstory of the Star Wars sequels, and it's not bad. So the reason why Leia is running a resistance army separate from the New Republic is because a video recording of Bail Organa explaining that she is Darth Vader's daughter got leaked online on the Star Wars internet or something, so she got kicked out of the New Republic Senate, so she was left with her own.
So you just mentioned a real situation where they actually used a book to explain important plot details that they didn't fucking know. But you failed to do that for the prequels. That's because the prequels are not guilty of the same thing.
Old friends and few soldiers, which is the Resistance Army. Also, the First Order was able to get the money and resources to build an army and a Starkiller base because the New Republic was split into 2 parties, like the Republic was right before the Clone Wars, and the side that was the Confederate Army donated money and resources to the First Order, so that's how they got the army and war broke out. These are not bad ideas that actually makes the sequel universe make sense. It came from one book called Star Wars Bloodlines, and apparently, according to Wikipedia, these ideas about the New Republic splitting up were actually thought up by Rian Johnson. Well, it would have been nice to explain that on screen in The Last Jedi, Ryan.
So you needed a director. You needed
also
a movie director to explain your own plot and your own world? You couldn't do it yourself? You needed a director to do it for you? That's ridiculous! That means you don't know what the fuck you're doing!
Being outed as Vader's daughter story was apparently planned to be an animated movie, so I hope that project becomes real. But no, Disney gave up on the sequels after episode 9, and now we're back to OT and PT nostalgia because we can't take risks. Even though George Lucas is a bad filmmaker, I love that he took risks.
Stop saying that shit like it's objective fact. That's just your opinion. There's a difference.
On the prequels, no matter what the critics and the fans told him. And look where we are now. What I find frustrating about the prequels is the missed potential, because I think these movies could have been really good if there were some few minor changes. Because conceptually...
No, minor changes? That means that if you took your flaws into account, they're not enough to discredit the film. Because you're saying, hey, these are just some minor changes that it needs. Get the fuck out of here, alright? The prequels don't need your additions just to be validated. All because it didn't match what the original trilogy purists wanted. So what? It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be its own unique thing. It's supposed to be original, different, and that's what it was.
These movies are excellent and so good. Even though I like
They're just fine without you having to get your grimy ass hands on it.
Sequels, I think the sequels are conceptually bad movies because they're forcibly continuing on the happily ever after ending of Return of the Jedi. Ryan and JD were fighting an uphill battle because it was difficult to give post-episode 6 Luke Skywalker a proper character arc, and it was kind of inevitable Han Solo and Luke would die tragic deaths. Anyways, what concepts in the prequels do I mean? Well, on paper, the general structure of those prequels are excellent. Young boy born in slavery because a great Jedi Knight falls in love and tragically turns evil because of love and accidentally kills his lover. It's an excellent concept for a story, but the execution was just horrible. Because Lucas had a million other ideas, we didn't have enough time to know Anakin as a...
You didn't even explain. You just said that, oh, it just is like that. It's, you always act so objective about everything. It's so fucking annoying. Not analyzing anything under the surface and just coming to conclusions and assumptions. It's so aggravating.
The character and his personality, his relationship with Obi-Wan and Palpatine, so his eventual fall in the story feels rushed and nonsensical. What's worse is because George Lucas's incompetency of writing human dialogue, most of the character interactions that should be wonderful feel cringy and hard to watch. Like, aren't romance scenes always fan favorite scenes in fandom since people like to ship? It's the opposite in the Star Wars prequels because Padme and Anakin's lines are even parts that prequel stand skips through. Let's try to think of an example of a scene that was conceptually good, but failed due to execution.
Alright, finally. Bring a fucking example up.
Being good if it was just tweaked a little with a rewrite. Say, the scene where Anakin goes on a bloodthirsty rant about how he killed an entire village of sand people for killing
Okay, his mother was tortured to death for 4 months in a row and died in his arms. How the fuck are you supposed to react to something like that?
his mother and how he hates them. I actually think the dialogue about how Anakin is angry and feels no remorse isn't bad, because it shows Anakin is a psychopathic monster deep inside and he really likes revenge.
No, that's not the point. The point was that his mother was killed. That's the point. The point you missed. If your mom died, how the fuck would you react? Fuck is wrong with you?
The problem is the context. He's spouting this to his love of his life. I know Anakin's sad about his mom dying, but what's saying?
How would you react if your mom died in your arms? You wouldn't be too fucking happy, and you'd be wondering who the fuck did it.
Man would do that.
You see, that's where the trouble began. That smile. That damn smile.
What's worse, this could have been fixed easily. Just change the scene so that Anakin is shouting this on a hologram phone call to Palpatine instead of Padme.
No! This is so fucking aggravating. Oh my god. No. Because in order for the scene to have weight, it has to happen right at that moment. That's when he loses it. It can't just be Palpatine that sees this. Other characters have to see that too.
Then when Anakin shades, I hate them, Palpatine will be like, it is only natural. They took their mother. You wanted revenge. It will be great character moments for both of them. It will make Palpatine grooming Anakin more natural. What's weird is that maybe even John Williams thought this was a better alternative and was trying to give subtle hints to George to change the story, because you can hear the Emperor's theme during this scene.
But the women and the children too.
And in the next movie, Palpatine literally says how Anakin told him about the Sand People.
Remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand People?
Would have been nice to see that on screen, George. George Lucas really...
Oh, no! No! You're not gonna get on him just because he didn't have that one thing on screen. That's one moment. That's one nitpick. It does not defeat the movie.
The idea man like he was for ESP and RTJ and gave the writing and directing duty to the other people for the prequels. The dream match between Idea Man and conflict director was only seen twice in Star Wars in my opinion, and that was Episode 5 and 6 and the Clone Wars, and they're one of the best Star Wars contents created. Anyways, my conclusion is, most people forgot about the awfulness of the prequels.
No! A lot of people realize that the movies are actually good and don't have the same ridiculous bias you clearly have.
Because of nostalgia, flavor, rose-tinted...
No! It's not nostalgia, it's the movie! The film! The movie!
Since they grew up with it. They just remember the concepts and George Lucas's wonderful ideas, the shows and merchandise that spinned out of the prequels, forget all the horrible BS that comes with it in the prequels. And after the sequels, which are the worst thing that exists since Elon Musk, now the prequels are magically misunderstood masterpieces. And I still disagree. Yes, the Clone Wars fixed the problems and filled in the plot holes, and yes, the ideas and worlds presented in the movies are wonderful, but still not enough for me. I love the Star Wars prequel universe, but I still refuse to call them good movies. To me, it's fixing the problem after it's too late. You know what the prequels are? They're the No Man's Sky of movies, fixing the problem after it comes out. Then I guess the Star Wars sequels are the Fallout 76.
What? No! Because if you see the movies by themselves, with just the context of the film alone, you get just enough context about what's going on, so that's horseshit.
In this current state,
all of this just works.
Anyways, the difference is games gets updates, but the movies don't get updates. Because if you try to comes out. Then I guess the Star Wars sequels are the Fallout 76 in its current state.
All of this just works.
Anyways, the difference is games gets updates, but the movies don't get updates. Cause if you try to update movies, it will be a disaster like the special edition changes of the OT. So
oh my god, that's just according to you. When they only added a few extra shots, what about the scenes in Bespin? What about the ending scenes? What about some of the songs? Some of the stuff in the special edition are actually really good. Some of the shots are actually pretty good. And the lightsabers look good too.
Don't try it. Still, these bad movies are Star Wars to me, so I still enjoyed it despite calling them bad movies. Yeah, people.
I'm just saying, people exaggerate the special edition. Okay, it had a few shots that were bad. A few moments of CGI that, you know, could have been a little... But the rest of it actually looked pretty good, and I grew up with that. And I didn't have a problem with it growing up, so now all of a sudden I'm supposed to have a problem with it because you do? Get the fuck out of here.
You can enjoy things that you don't think are good. So that's why I love Rise of Skywalker, a dumpster fire 2. And after playing it, I can say, this game is fucking horrible! George had a vision, and he made it real. I can respect that, and you can too. But you have to admit, he was just a really stubborn man about it, and that's all.
A stubborn man about it? Stubborn how? He was working with other people, and he was collaborating, and he's very humble. He just happened to make it a certain way, make it in a way that a lot of people just didn't realize, and he just made it the way he actually wanted to make it.
Thanks for watching. This video really turned out to be a sequel bashing video than a prequel bashing video than I thought it would be.
I don't bring red letter media
and hate letter to the prequel which I grew up with. It was fun talking about these movies. I love talking about the Star Wars prequels, so I'll probably review the prequels individually in the future, so look forward to that too. Also, I need to advertise. We have a fun Discord server.
Yeah, but you're going to be rude to the whole entirety of what the movies represent.
Most of the official Gireum server is filled with nonsense about Pokemon, so I request all of you Star Wars fans to come here so that Star Wars chats get more popular. You guys can argue about which trilogy is the best. I hope to see you there.
Unbelievable. Well, you didn't prove jack shit. I'll tell you that much. Thank you for watching. This was Tarragon.